Welcome to Point Blank. As usual, this is my weekly show where, hey, I give you the way I see things. I talk about things that personally interest me. It could be politics, Donald Trump. It could be politics in Nigeria, Buhari and his cabinet ministers. And it could be sports. So today, on Point Blank, I'm going to deal with a very thorny issue that has been going on in Nigeria now for about a week. It's about our Super Falcons. But we'll get to that. Let me first again tell you exactly what Point Blank is all about. It is my weekly show where you get straight from me, from the bottom of my heart, what I think about issues. And occasionally I do bring in people to kind of give me what their own point of view is, because look, this is a free world. I want to hear from everybody. You know how to get in touch with me. It's on my Twitter handle, which is PJ Osagi, or go to the website of the station, which is www.mbclivetv.com. You can watch this program anytime and anywhere. When I come back, I'm going to introduce to you a very seasoned football journalist, or let me even say a seasoned journalist. He's beyond football, but he's covered football in Nigeria for a very long time. And we're going to talk about this issue that has been going on for about, really, maybe all year. Because, the issues of the Super Falcons, that is our winning female football team. African champions 8 times out of 10. And some people say actually 10 times more. 2 more times even before the African Cup of Nations for Women started. So I'll take this quick break. When I come back, my guest from Lagos will join me on the phone. Welcome back. You're watching Point Blank this Thursday evening, and I'm dealing strictly. All my 30 minutes, all my time today is going to be spent on Nigerian football, and it's going to be spent on Nigerian female football. Joining me from Lagos is a seasoned, very well-known sports reporter, a former editor of Complete Sports, which is the largest football report, largest sports magazine in the country. He's been a sports reporter since '91 and has covered football, especially since 1994. And everybody that knows anything about Nigerian football knows the significance of 1994 to us. He's on a daily. He's an anchor or a participant in a daily radio program for over 15 years now. Let me welcome to my program, to Point Blank, Mr. Akinbode Oguntuyi. Welcome, Bode.
Thank you, Lobia. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be speaking with you.
Yes, look, Bode, you heard my introduction, and I said I'm talking all about the Super Falcons. Can you just give us an update of where we are now? We know that these young ladies, about a week ago, won the African Cup. And since they returned one day after from Yaoundé in Cameroon, they're in a sit-tight situation at the hotel where they've been staying, and they've said they will not move or they will not leave until they have paid all their allowances. So tell us, where exactly are we right now?
As of now, the situation is still not clear, but the last we heard was that the presidency have stepped into the matter, and they have received a presidential pledge that the money will be paid. Now, how effective the presidential intervention has been, we are not clear on that yet, because a few days before the presidential intervention, it was reported that the president of the Nigerian Football Federation, Amafi Philip, while he was addressing the players, along with Balusti, the Secretary General, he said some unsavory things against the players, and they even threatened some of that should they continue to embarrass Nigeria and they will be banned for life from national team. And so that attack that the players felt was unprovoked led them to begin to say that, okay, for saying that, they're going to say that here because because they know they will be their right, and that they know that they are being owed at some point something new. And it was at this point that the presidency that the presidency stepped in and give assurance that the money will be paid. But I think that the players are tired of talk, because what we hear is that following the intervention of the presidency, the two officials are told to leave the hotel, and with the official front, the players felt that the NFF are looking for a short way to short-change them. We're looking for a shortcut or ability to short-change them. So they are saying that the debt to increase matter, but there's something concrete comes from the presidency.
Okay, here is my question. Because, you know, again, on both sides, nobody is actually sure of the amount that is being owed. I'm sure the NFF really doesn't have a certain amount, a certain figure that they will say this is what we owe the young ladies. And the ladies themselves, I'm sure, are not sure of what they are being owed. But, you know, there's an amount that's been bandied around, which everything total comes to about $25,000. Mr. Bode, again, you're watching Point Blank, and I'm here talking to Mr. Bode Oguntuyi on phone. He's calling in from Lagos. He's a seasoned sports writer, and he's covered Nigerian football, especially female football, for an awful long time. Now, we're talking about exactly what exactly are these ladies owed? Does the NFF have a figure, and do the girls themselves have a figure?
Look, the figure itself will have to be. I think they'll need a statistician to figure it out. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I'll tell you why. Now, all through the qualifiers, all through the qualifiers, and all through the other qualifiers for the other tournaments that they played,
yes,
at the Olympics and the African all African games, they're supposed to be getting a certain amount of money daily, and the monies are not paid as when due, and when they are paid, it's not complete. And so you're looking at a debt that is spanning almost 2 to 3 years.
Oh boy!
Daily allowances and match bonuses, and so because like they're doing right now, you're owing the ladies in dollars, and you're paying them $400,000 today, $500,000 tomorrow, $400,000 today. Now, how do you begin to figure it out? At the point, you're going to get muddled, and that's the problem. Because when this young man came back from the Cameroon, that was clear. Okay, they are supposed to earn a certain amount of money for every win, for every stage, and a certain amount of money for winning the tournament. Now, before they left, they didn't get a penny of that money. Then before they left Yaoundé, they are paid 500,000 naira each. Okay, and then they got to Lagos. When the trouble started, they paid another 400,000, and then on Sunday they paid 100,000 naira. So now I'm sure the jumping between currencies, even if you are using bank rates, at the point it's going to become model.
Oh, definitely.
At 3,000, exactly. So that is the problem. Now nobody can say exactly how much they are being owed. Any figure that comes will likely be random because nobody knows.
Yeah, because look, I mean, you know that if you give me $3,000 today and I walk into Lagos, I can be a millionaire in Naira depending on where I sell it. You know, so
exactly.
If they are trying to then play this, well, but look, let's since we actually don't have an idea of what the amount is, well, let's go back into really the structure of the NFF and why do we continue to have this problem? Remember, 12 years ago, this same kind of situation with obviously a different body of people in administration of our football. This same thing happened 12 years ago. So what is the problem? Why do we have this structural defect that keeps bringing up this kind of issue?
Look, we have been talking about this for years, even before the 2004 incidents.
Mm-hmm.
We need to prioritize sports in Nigeria.
Yes.
Because the reward system does not match the income. Okay?
Yes.
And what's driving by this? The NFF, I don't think there's any other nation on earth that pays the amount of money that you give to our underage teams, and I think around 17, both boys and girls. They get many bonus in dollars. I don't think there's any other nation that does that. That is one. Secondly, I don't think there's any nation that pays its players as much as we do pay us. And sometimes the money is just spent for no reason. For example, people have a game to play. On paper, they're supposed to answer $5,000 as winning bonus. And then somebody comes and says, okay, look, just win this game. I mean, officially, win this game and get $10,000. And so, because the figures are random, there's no structure, and sometimes, because at the start of every year, when they are budgeting, I don't think they take into consideration the matches that we play. Although these matches are fixed in the FIFA calendar, you don't look at them. Okay? So even the budget that is presented is random. It's not based on anything. The NFL, they don't look at the income that they are getting. They don't look at the income that they get from the government, from sponsorship. They just put a figure out there, and they wish and hope that at some point, the money will appear from somewhere. Let me give you an example.
Okay, good.
On the way to Brazil for the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
Now, somebody said, "Hey, let's take the team to Atlanta and train." And the government said, "We don't have, now the NFL couldn't afford it because they don't have money." And the government said, "Look, we don't have money." And then the NFL president said, "Look, somebody has offered to pay for the first week. And while they are there for the first week, we look for money for the remaining 3 weeks because they're supposed to be there for 1 month." And I said to myself, who is this person that is sponsoring this team? Because it's going to be a problem later on.
Yes.
Of course, we also what happened. Because when the team left, and I did say that they are going to use this as a tool to get money from the government. So when the trouble started in Atlanta, the NFL came back and said, the government is not helping us. They are just shouting alone. And the government was forced to start looking for money to give the team. So the organization, and it's random. There's no sense or reason to it. And the reason why it is continued like this, to answer your question, is because they call themselves the football family.
Yes.
So you have these people that it's like they keep passing the baton round and round. So it's like a cult.
Okay.
And now they just have they passed a ridiculous story recently that if you're not a member of this family, you can't be voted against office. So this continues because one, there's government money, and two, because these guys don't do anything else apart from make money in the name of running sports.
Okay, now very good. You know, you mentioned the word budget, and I remember that I did write something about budget. But before I go into that and ask you my next question, let me take a quick break, and then we'll come back and talk about budgeting in Nigerian football. So I'll take a quick break and I'll be right back. Just stay tuned. You're still watching Point Blank, and this program is completely focused to Nigerian female football, or Nigerian football generally, because we seem to be extending it or stretching it to cover even football administration in Nigeria. So we'll be right back. Sit tight. I'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching Point Blank this Thursday evening, and remember, we show this program a couple more times during the weekend and into the next week. It's a weekly program where I come to you. Like I said, it could be about politics, it could be about sports, it could be social, it could be anything. But what you get from me is really my heart, you know, what I believe in. I point it out to you, and that's why it's called Point Blank. I come out there and tell you as I see things. Today, like I said, I've been talking to Mr. Bode Oguntuyi from Lagos, who's, like I said, a seasoned sports writer, you know, a former editor of Complete Sports. Complete Sports is probably one of the better known sports magazines in Nigeria. And we've been talking about the issues that surround the Super Falcons and really the issues that surround Nigerian football generally. Now, but look, last year, about this time last year, the NFF actually released the budget of almost 6 billion naira, if I remember, 5 point something or 6 point something billion, which at that time, at the exchange rate, was about $30 million. I wrote an article then saying that, wow, $30 million. I broke it down. I mean, they wanted to spend some $3.2 million for a tournament that is possibly going on, a tournament going on right now. If you remember, I mean, my article can be found on my Facebook page, Patrick Omosage, you can go there. But they did have a budget, and I was actually impressed that they had a budget. But I termed the budget because, like most budgets are kind of named, you have austerity budgets, you have a developmental budget. I actually called that football budget a nonsense budget because it didn't make any sense to me. Now, you tell me exactly, if they had a budget, how come the money for the girls, for their preparation, for their winning and all that was not included in the budget? You tell me, you are the one in Lagos. How does it work?
The answer to that is simple, Ogbe. I don't know whether you have the news. During the week, the minister said, the sports minister from Ondalong said, the money was not in that budget because they didn't expect them to win. That's the answer, right there.
Oh boy. So because they did not expect them to win, they did not budget for them. Okay, now that they have won, yeah. What exactly? Look, okay. Let me put it this way. Here is really the next question, because you mentioned something about the NFF president probably throwing some subtle threats. I don't know whether they were direct, but he was threatening the young ladies that some of them will be banned for life and all that. What is the Nigerian press, or what is the Nigerian football community? And I'm talking about the fans. What are they saying to this? Because I don't think we should allow the president of our football to be threatening players that have gone out there and done us proud, and just because they are asking for what you promised them or what they should be getting, you are threatening them. Remember, this is their livelihood. This is what they do for a living.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
I mean, what?
No,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I can tell you that the players have the 100% support of the public and the sporting press. Of course, apart from a few of the sporting press that are questioning the rights of the players to keep asking for money that is not there. Well, of course, I know what I think of the sports writers in that category, but the majority of Nigerians and the majority of the sporting press, when the news came out that the players are threatened, the fallout was so heavy that the NFF wrote a hurried press statement that it didn't happen. The girls are not threatened. That in fact the NFF are killing pace and all that. But we are aware of the way the NFF operates. Remember that the NFF threatened players when they ask for their rights. Not me. It started since the days of the league certification.
Yes.
Which was not led him to go to play in Ivory Coast. So it's not new. It's the same problems being disguised or being removed to look at like so. But I can assure you, the players have 100% support of the public and sporting press.
That is very good to hear. Now let me wrap this up with you, because look, this has been very interesting discussion for us here in the United States and all over the world. Those of us that are outside Nigeria, because these are not problems that we tend to encounter here. In my research for this program and for my other writings, I did find out that our girls are actually being offered more money as a winning bonus than just not the American, the US female team, who are, 3 times or 4 times World Cup champions.
World champions.
Then we don't, our girls, even our girls, not to talk about our men, the Super Eagles, they actually earn more in winning bonus than the 3 Lions of England. The Three Lions, a winning bonus for them is £1,500. A draw is £1,350, and a loss is £750. I mean, why is ours so bloated?
It's simple. It's simple. Remember that in Nigeria, whatever the players get, the officials get top. It's as simple as that. So
Okay,
the money the players get.
Everybody that has anything to do with the team also gets the 5,000 or the 10,000 winning bonus. No wonder at times when they lose, they will say in order to encourage them, they are going to pay the 10,000 anyway.
Exactly, because they know that whatever the players get, look, it all ends up with this policy of government funding sports.
Yes.
And look, and until the government hands off sports, I don't think this program will go away. It will not.
Okay, look, Bode, I cannot thank you enough. I think this has been one of those programs that a lot of my viewers would always come back and say we were enlightened, really kind of even entertained about some of the things that go, because at times Nigeria could be very funny. Things do happen and people will be laughing at me, what's going on. So we've been enlightened, we've been entertained. But look, thank you very much for joining me this Thursday from Lagos, Nigeria. Again, I've been talking to Mr. Bode Oguntuyi. Okay, thank you very much, sir. I'll take a quick break. When I come back, as usual, I'm going to sit down, look right into the camera, and tell you what I think about how we run sports, especially at this level, what I think the problem is, and maybe how we can solve some of this. So I'll take that break. Stay tuned. I'll be right back. Welcome back. This has been Point Blank, or this is still Point Blank. I mean, this is a regular show of yours every Thursday. I come to you and we talk about these issues that really kind of bother me. I don't want to use the word concern, but they do bother me. And today, you just heard me. I just finished and wrapped up a discussion, an interview, with one of Nigeria's foremost sports reporters, Mr. Bode Oguntuyi. But here's what I want to say. I mentioned while I was talking to Bode that, look, the Three Lions, that is the English national team, England's national team. A winning bonus for them is just £1,500. A winning bonus for the Super Eagles, which has just been reduced from $10,000 to $5,000. The English FA is the richest football association in the world. How is it that Nigeria, that is probably the amount of money that we make from the private sector in our Nigerian football is almost, I mean, it's a fraction to what they spend. We spend government money. And people then decide to pay $5,000, and like I said before, $10,000 for a winning bonus on government money. How do we come to that? I have written before that, look, another very rich federation, which is the US basketball, that puts the likes of billionaires. I mean, I use the word billionaires because, look, LeBron James is a second $1 billion athlete after Tiger Woods. He has a shoe contract of $1 billion with Nike. When LeBron James is invited to camp to come play for the US at the Olympics or at the World Championships, LeBron James is treated in what you call with financial restraint. He's invited to camp. LeBron James shows up in a private jet. US basketball doesn't pay for it. Every player is given an $850 voucher that covers their transportation. LeBron James probably paid $25,000, if not more than that, to rent a jet to get him to Las Vegas, the campsite. The players are given a $200 room in Las Vegas. Most of them have rented out a suite because they're coming with their family or with their friends, but mostly with their family because it's summer, usually summertime. A financially responsible football association or sports federation that collects money from companies or for private concerns or even government should show restraint on how they spend money. In the case of Nigeria, ours is not even just about our spending, ours is a lack of even being able to raise money. When I wrote in an article about this time last year, when the Nigerian Football Federation released its budget, I said, good. It's good that they have a budget for 2016. It was the first time I was seeing a Nigerian or the budget was being publicly released. I said it was good, but I also then called it a nonsense budget because it made absolutely no sense. A budget in which we couldn't see the source of revenues. We only knew that the money was going to come from the government, from FIFA, from CAF, and from GLO and Guinness. They didn't tell us how much they were going to get from these bodies. Nobody writes a budget without revenues. When I do a budget in my house, I know where the money is coming from. My salary, my little income here, my wife's income there, my one book sale or, someone has to pay me. When you do a monthly budget, you look at where all your monies are coming from before you allocate it to different areas. You don't allocate money that you don't have. I mean, people used to talk about the late Moshood M.K. Abiola. That's a very funny man. And one of the things he normally used to say is that you cannot cut a man's hair in his absence. It's almost the same thing. We're allocating money we don't have. We're budgeting money we don't have. Nigerian sports will not go forward. Nigerian football will never do well if we continue, just not rely on government, but rely in government in the way we do rely on government, and that is for everything. I hope you now all understand. Our problem is really beyond a lack of money. It's more of a process. We're failing in the process of managing sports. We're failing in the process of managing Nigerian football. So I'll see you all next week, same time. Bye-bye for now.